Never shall innocent blood be shed, yet the blood of the wicked shall flow like a river. The three shall spread their blackened wings and be the vengeful striking hammer of God. You people have been chosen to reveal our existence to the world. You will witness what happens here today, and you will tell of it later. All eyes to the front. You must watch, dear. It'll all be over soon.
Now you will receive us. We do not ask for your poor or your hungry. We do not want your tired and sick.
It is your corrupt we claim.
It is your evil that will be sought by us.
With every breath, we shall hunt them down.
Each day, we will spill their blood till it rains down from the skies.
Do not kill, do not rape, do not steal. These are principles which every man of every faith can embrace.
These are not polite suggestions. These are codes of behavior. And those of you that ignore them will pay the dearest cost.
There are varying degrees of evil. We urge you lesser forms of filth, not to push the bounds and cross over into true corruption, into our domain.
For if you do, one day you will look behind you and you will see we three. And on that day, you will reap it.
And we will send you to whatever God you wish.
And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand. May swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be.
In nomine Patri.
Et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
How far are we going to take this, Star?
The question is not how far. The question is, do you possess the Constitution? The depth of faith to go as far as is needed?
Guys,
Hello.
Hey.
everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
It was good. We didn't stream. We had a pre-recorded last Wednesday night. And we didn't appear on Elena's show on Saturday. So it's been over a week since I talked to you guys, and we've had kind of an exploration of worldly things. I missed it.
Yeah, we had a good it was on the reviling wives or abusive wives last week with Dr. David Edgington. Got quite a number of views on that for us. So encourage those who haven't seen it, go check it out. Check out last week's stream. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. Had to end up cooking a turkey all by myself for the first time. I had to cook a whole Thanksgiving meal for 8 people all by myself. And you know what? It's better than my ex-wife ever cooked.
Okay.
TradCon dreams come to bite you in the ass, don't they, sometimes?
Is that what we're talking about tonight, Nick? Are
A
you
little
just
bit.
I think somebody's in the mood to roast some people here.
What
think all
is
three
a
of us are.
TradCon?
Well, key word is con, and the descriptor is trad.
Oh, you mean trad conservative, TradCon.
Well, traditional conservatives means they conserve nothing and they're not traditional.
Okay, but what does that mean they actually are then, Nick? What is con? What's the other use of con then? If they're not
Con,
conserving anything,
con artist, as in con men, confidence men or women. Or also for the women, it's lipstick on a pig or the mask they wear. But it's a con.
I don't know. I kind of like confidence women. It's like because we all know con men, but con women. Do women scam men? Well,
Yeah.
I literally have a tweet up here. It's Joker replying to some girl. She's claiming that she needs about $500,000 a year for her maintenance. And it's like, and she says that 20K you're trying to send is not enough. And I'm just like, I mean, women are not as good at confidence scams as men are. They tend to rely on their bodies to pull it off, but good Lord.
There's more con women than con men.
Yes, agreed.
The TradCon claim to be traditional conservatives, conserving traditional or family values, not principles, by the way.
People don't know what principles are anymore.
So when we think of the TradCons in the standard way that most people think about it, and the TradCon men who really are Christian and, trying to do the right thing, is there any man on their side that has been through a divorce?
Crowder?
He's no longer TradCon, is he?
Okay.
Did you guys see the video of I think Glenn put this out. Apparently Stephen knew RP Thor.
Okay.
And that might be a more recent thing too, given what happened to him. Yeah, I'm not sure I would classify Steven Crowder as a TradCon man anymore. I would say on the basis of some of the stuff he says, he's still got Gerald chirping in TradCon in his ear. So he's more purple pill, but he is not all the way in TradCon anymore. He's no.
It's never black and white. Okay, man, get a dose of reality. Okay, they have to abandon their previous beliefs. But, oh, it's tough. You got to go from blue pill to purple pill because you attempt to hold on to some of those.
Yes, you
And
do.
The most insidious one is, oh, I just married a bad woman. I just need to go find the good woman. I need to find the unicorn, one of those women that really love Jesus and who's really religious and who really doesn't believe in divorce, not the ones that just say it. So, yes, there still are women out there that are not like that. The truth is, all women have the same nature.
All women are like that. And that, like,
that
I agree
doesn't
with,
mean that all women will divorce you. Some of them have
correct.
some self-discipline. Some of them, and the ones that don't divorce, typically the male has enough dominance to lead in and prevent that trigger in her from happening. But her nature is still the same. I'm not saying that she would do that if left unchecked. But
Well,
I'm just saying her nature is that therefore, there by the grace of God go I. You know that phrase?
yeah.
Yes. That means I could be that bad man who does all that bad stuff, but for the grace of God, I am not. Okay, the same thing applies to women. There, but for the grace of God, would be her.
Well, and another thing that we're also not saying here is that, look, female nature can assert itself. There is no amount of dominance that you can legally execute that can prevent a woman from exercising her nature. Okay, and this is why Nawalt is such a one shot on men. It's why it's the hardest thing to get over, because they do look at these guys for whom they do have the dominance and they have a good woman, and she stays, and they go, oh, see, not all women are like that. They don't understand that her female nature is there. She's chosen to subsume it into her man, and he has the dominance to pull it off. She has to be willing to discipline herself to her man, and the man has to be willing to hold discipline over her. It doesn't work any other way.
And even then, it's only risk mitigation.
Yes.
It's not certainty.
Correct.
Look, you can't, grace does not overwrite nature. That's a classic, Christian understanding is grace does not change nature. Doesn't overwrite nature. It can restore nature to more towards a proper order rather than rebellion. But also remember, guys, here's an aside. God also created tobacco and nicotine. So when you're dealing with women in their shit test or talking about them, it goes right here.
Are we gonna get flagged now?
Oh, I don't know if that's a flag.
It might be.
Oh well.
It might be.
Oh well. Who knows?
All right, Nick. Now that we have diatribed long enough about the red pill, you have a specific direction you want to go tonight.
Yeah, it's the trad on. So, I was going for 6 months or so. Every time I heard trad on, there's the political trad con, the Christianized trad con. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, it's the trad con. It's a con that the descriptor is trad, specifically It's that type of con which deals in the trap. It's a con.
Yeah, just Jesus harder. And if you Jesus hard enough, everything will work out. It's kind of like Joel Osteen's message. God wants you to have a good life. So if you pray, you will achieve and he will bestow on you wealth because he loves you. So if you just pray and trust God enough, you will have a blissful existence with your wife and she won't divorce you. It's another con or variation of the health and wealth gospel.
It's a lie. And where does con come from, Steve? I'm going to put this up here. You sent this to me today.
Yeah.
Find my link. There we go.
You got it up.
The first confidence man and other historic cheats. You want to read it?
Yeah, can you blow it up a little bit?
Yeah, I'll see if I can do that. Zoomed. Is that good?
Since the dawn of history, and probably even back when our hominid ancestors were still figuring out the whole walking upright thing, people have been tricking, cheating, and hoaxing each other, whether for profit, revenge, or just for kicks and giggles. There has seldom been a shortage of those eager to pull a fast one on others. They come in all shapes and varieties, from the penny ante cheats to the grand masters of the con. They include small time crook, for whom the term con man was first coined, the fake aristocrat who rooked one of America's great robber barons out of a fortune, and the breathtakingly ambitious trickster who almost convinced the United States government that he owned most of Arizona. Following are 40 things that are fascinating con men, hoaxsters, hucksters, and cheats throughout history. The
Let's go to
first
the
con
first
man.
con. There we go.
Okay, keep scrolling.
Right here.
Con men have probably been around since forever, but the term itself, which is short for confidence man, can be traced back to William Thompson, a 19th century New York City small time criminal who talked strangers into simply handing him their goods. His standard operating procedure was to dress up like a well off high class gentleman, walk up to a high class mark, and strike up a conversation with him as if the two knew each other. We have all probably been in that kind of awkward situation, running into people who know us, but for the life of us, we can't remember where we know them from. Not wanting to give offense, we often end up acting as if we know exactly who they are. Thompson capitalized on that instinctive desire to avoid awkwardness and avert a faux pas. After a few minutes of shooting the breeze, he would ask his mark if he had the confidence to trust him with his watch or a small amount of money until the next day. It was simpler America back in the 19th century, and New Yorkers must have been quite different in those days. Surprisingly, it worked. The mark, hesitant to give offense, often obliged. Unsurprisingly, the money or watch were never returned after Thompson walked away, leaving a bewildered Mark wondering at what had just happened.
That's probably good right there. Okay. So that's the con. So what they're
Now,
doing.
continue on, Nick.
No, you go ahead, Steve. You had a thought. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, is the term appropriate to use with Christians? Because they're not in it for themselves. Well, directly, they're not in it for themselves. They just want the good of society. They want the good of you and to further the kingdom and have more Christians and, just promote all these wonderful things.
Steve?
So, as a Christian man, you know what? It's your duty as a man to find a woman, marry her. You need to be a good Christian servant leader. You need to bring her to church every week, and you need to have a lot of children. And if you love Jesus enough and you pray with her every day and you go to church every Sunday, trust me, bro, you will have a happy life and you won't be divorced.
Well, Steve, I have an answer to this. The purpose of a system is what it does. If the purpose of if the behaviors you use to convince people to do something are confidence behavior, well, that is a system for scamming people. It is a system to convince people to do something that they would not normally do. Okay. And the purpose of a system is what it does. If the purpose of a system to get of the marriage system is, or I should restate, the purpose of the marriage system is to create divorces for the state. Why? Why do I say that? Because that's what it does. The purpose of a system is what it does. So for the purpose of the TradCon system is to serve as the entry point to the marriage system for the state.
True, but their more immediate purpose is to get you married to a woman, have children, join the church, give your contributions to the church because we need more members, because we need more people to support the church. So give your money to the church now because we need more soldiers for Christ.
Right. And so the system they use to do that is the confidence system, or is the systems. Confidence men use various systems, but they all have them. And so the purpose of those systems is to convince you to do something that you would not in a normal, rational context otherwise do.
This is why the Daily Wire and other places always go. They set up the boogeyman or the enemy, which is the red pill, and they use a false generalization of the whole of the red pill using the pickup artistry community.
Before we go there, we're three Christian men. Nick, as a former pastor, is marriage good?
Yes.
Yes.
Historically, biblically, yes.
Yes. Who created marriage? The man, the woman, joining together, the leader, the helpmeet. Who created this institution?
God did.
God. Marriage is a good. So why are we in here saying don't get married? Ooh, be careful. Because modern marriage is not marriage. There's been a bait and switch over time. What is practiced as marriage today is not biblical marriage, nor can it be under the current rules. So while we believe marriage is an ultimate good, we don't really think it's possible under the current laws. And it's
Unless
even
you're
more
lucky.
laws. It's It's the sentiments and understanding in the interior definition that what people have as marriage is faulty. Marriage is always, God's marriage is always, the man is the leader, the head. He makes the decisions. Any other kind of marriage is not really marriage.
And Steve, you have now elucidated the con. Because so you have just said what marriage is, biblical marriage is, and you're correct. I'm not going to disagree with you there. But is that what churches actually present? Is that what they offer? Is that what they suggest? Is that what they teach?
So no,
No.
I've said this on a previous stream. It's really it's pernicious. So you'll have these biblical, historical vows that have gone through probably centuries. You take these vows before the church. You have this social contract marriage with many witnesses. You take these oaths and vows in marriage, and you think that's really what's going to regulate it. No, no, no. Then the pastor will make you sign a marriage license. Therefore, saying, no, 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 we're going to, in the court of law, they throw all your ecclesiastical vows in the trash and they assign you to this secular abomination, which they call marriage in the marriage license, which is actually this abomination where you have no authority. You have, and if you exercise that authority, you can be labeled as, abusive. If you, you know, if you wonder why you're not having sex, you can be labeled as sexually abusive. If you want to control the finances, you're financially abusive. They could take you to court, and contrary to natural law, contrary to biblical law, you have coverture. You have a covering for, in a historical Christian marriage, you have a covering for the woman. The man has protection provision. He rules over her. And the children take on his last name. They belong to the father. No, no, no. Now, she takes half your crap, if not more. You're hooked on alimony and child support. And in most cases, they award primary or sole custody to the woman who leaves you.
Well, okay, Nick, this is great, because what did I say about a confidence scheme? It is an attempt to get you to do something you would not normally do. And one of the ways to do that is to say, no, we're just going to do this thing over here. You've done it a million times, right? One of the big scams running around on the internet right now is a gift card scam. It's a favorite of it's a favorite of the Indians. But it's basically, they get you to buy a gift card, and then they get you to enter the code in the box on the screen to use the gift card. But they are watching your screen because they are helping you. But they always say, don't click the button to apply the gift card, right? Because they want to be able to enter the code and apply it for themselves, right? So they will use things that they have, that you are used to doing. These are pathways in your brain that your brain is already primed to go down because you've done it before. But then they'll introduce some little trick right there at the end. Oh, well, no, just don't click it there. We need it for, we'll need this number for later, so they have some language, right? And that's exactly what Nick is describing. They describe, oh, come get married in our church. We have these lovely born again Christian women who they are, they want to be these stay at home mommies with kids on their hips. And then you find out that there's this little trick where you have to go sign the marriage license. And when you do that, your marriage is immediately, and Nick, I love the way you said this, your marriage is immediately and irrevocably transferred to the state.
So, is this an old-fashioned, classic bait and switch?
Yes. This is an old scam, guys.
By all means, get married, but get the real thing. Oh, is that even possible today? Well, the answer to that is complicated.
We talked about that a couple streams ago. The answer to that is what who was it that said, Billy Bob's church down by the river or something? Was that Steve or was that Nick?
I don't know. We
I
both
don't
had
know.
the same concept.
Right. The reality is I have never encountered a pastor who would be willing to officiate a marriage without having the license already worked up by the state, ready for signing. Is what it is, guys.
Now the trad cons also have a new. It's become more popular. The trad wife. They're trying to make them tantalizing. I mean,
Nick,
you even have
Nick,
this one that went famous in the red pill for a while.
but I'm a traditional minded man. Shouldn't I seek out a trad wife?
You mean cake tits?
Well, her tits are great, and she's baking a cake. What more could a man ask for?
Okay, let me answer this, Steve. Showing your tits on the internet for likes and views and subs is not traditional. There's actually a reason why Elena does not claim the title of traditional. She knows what she's doing. Okay, guys, like that. It's not traditional to be showing your tits in a tight shirt on the internet for clicks and subs, and I'm sure she was getting donations by the truckload,
Well,
financial donations.
she's not doing it for male attention, but she does do her exercise videos. I mean, she dressed modestly, I would say, for the occasion. I don't see a problem with it, but
for
at the
Elena,
same time, she could be criticized for it.
yeah, she could be, but she doesn't call herself trad for a reason. She's not, and she knows it.
Right.
This is what's on the screen right now is not trad. I get that she's got the cross on. I get that she's doing the baking thing and it looks trad. But the trick, guys, is that she is doing this for attention on the internet and she's doing it for money on the internet. She's an influencer with a large following. Anything she posts is going to get ad revenues. It's going to get I think it was TikTok. So whatever their version of super chats is, she made an enormous amount of money on this. And that's the trick. It looks trad, but it's not.
I think she's just poor. Because obviously that shirt is a little bit small for her. She can't afford a new shirt that actually fits properly. And you know what? A traditional wife would be wearing an apron while baking that cake. But she's so poor she can't afford an apron. So why are you being so critical?
Oh, you had this episode. So these are the trad wives. It's the whole thing: baking cake, sourdough, and their sunflower dresses. And we need a man to wife us up. Meanwhile, they have all these thousands of followers on their Instagram or Twitter, and they probably have all these DMs. Okay, hey, they're on the internet, guys. They're advertising themselves, and they're probably making money off of it. And do you think they are really traditional or are they trad cons? Is this a mask that they wear? That's your cue, Steve.
Well, of course. And why would it not be? Oh, let's think back throughout history. Before, well, there were arranged marriages, but let's throw that out for a minute. After arranged marriages stopped happening, there were social events. There were church events. Did a woman network? Did a woman flirt with the guys she thought she wanted. Whatever subtle signals. Was she using whatever she could to attract the man she wanted? Hell yes, she was. You didn't need social media to happen. But now, with social media, is a woman going to use those same inclinations and make use of the greater tools and the greater audience and exposure to do the same damn thing that women were doing 100 years ago at the church social? Of course.
Duh. Yes. Women are not stupid. They look at what works and they go, oh, well, that worked for that girl and that girl. Maybe I should do that too. But that doesn't.
Well, and they use whatever is at their disposal to put themselves out there to gain attention. 100 years ago, women wanted attention.
Yes.
From the alpha or the studs. And they wanted pandering from the simps. Both categories of men have always existed. And women trolled for attention from men throughout history. There's nothing new here. Just because social media is here doesn't mean that all of a sudden women started doing it. No, they've always been doing this.
Yeah. I'm thinking about Jane Austen, famous author, wrote books well before there was such a thing as internet, well before there was such a thing as, I think she was writing before there were steamships. And what does she talk? Basically, Pride and Prejudice is a key plot point is this cotillion, I think is the term they use, but it's basically a ball for the young women to come out and be seen by the up and coming young men, and the whole purpose of these things was for women to go seek attention from men. Now, in that particular case, they had much stronger social mores about, how it was done. The parents were there, there were very careful guidelines put around it. But this idea that women have always sought attention. What the internet did change is that it brought the attention to them. So in the cotillion example, you have to get dressed up and go somewhere, right? Like, why is the bar scene dead? Because the internet exists. Because you can get more attention on Instagram. You can get a lot more attention on Instagram that you could ever get in your local bar, even in a big city. Where else can you get 100,000 simps to click like and send you super chats? You're not going to get 100,000 people in a bar in New York City. I mean, you'd have to fill up. I mean, the largest sports stadiums in the world cannot hold these women's attention armies. You can call them simp armies, but they're really just attention armies. Okay. So of course, the internet is the premier platform for female attention. Is what it is, guys. If she's on there, she is telling you what she's after.
Yeah, I mean, how really?
I do want to warn you that just because they put on the trad garments and do the trad things, does that mean that internally they are truly traditional, or are they more likely trad ons?
Oh, I would say most of them, they change their clothing like it's their clothing. Like the trad con is just another grift for these women. Oh, well, there's women making money, doing trad con-y things on the internet, dressing up in sundresses and baking it. Well, I'll do that too now. I'm a trad con now. There's no
It's
personality change here whatsoever.
it's the mask she wears
Mm-hmm.
at the moment
Mm-hmm.
to get the attention from the man, the type of men she wants attention from.
Yeah, Alex,
So
exactly.
if
Attention is the coin of the realm.
if she wants attention from Chads who will give her a good time, well, then you go to TikTok and put out scantily clad pictures and get that kind of attention. Now, if you're past that stage and now, oh no, I want a good Christian man. Well, then you dress a little differently, put on a different mask, and put out media to attract a different type of man. The man you will settle down with. Doesn't mean it's a man you really want. It's a man, it's just
Settle
time
for.
to settle down. So you change your mask to get the attention from whatever kind of man is your current target.
See, this is actually very dangerous. You said settle down. Keyword is settle. You are not her first choice. She's probably been run through a number of times, not guaranteed, but many of these women have been run through early in their life. They've had the alpha fucks. They're looking for their beta bucks, dollar signs, Oh, that'll wife them up and they can pop out some kids, get their cushy lifestyle. Maybe
Hey,
within a few years, they're not going to have the they don't want to be folded up in a pretzel by you, the one that they settled for.
Alpha reinterest.
this is in our language. And it's way older than the red pill. When you get married, what do they call that in slang? Time to settle down. That my dad was probably using that language. Yeah, he settled down. He got married. Guess what? When you settle down and get married, she is settling for you.
Yes. Now this gets into the whole conversation of women have been told that they should never settle, and so this is the other. Oh, so Nick, you were talking about. Oh, they're not guaranteed to be run through whores, and that's true. Not all of them are. About estimates 3 to 4% of them are still virginal or close to it. But having grown up in the church, I can tell you this: most of the ones who managed to stay virgins through high school, church youth groups and stuff like that, did so because Jesus was their only boyfriend ever. The reason they didn't fuck around with other guys is because there was no guy that they considered worthy of fucking around. And every one of those women to this day is still, I doubt any of them are actually virgins anymore, but they are still very single because Jesus is still their boyfriend. So your choices are run through whore who you can never live up to the Chad that she was run through by, or the virgin who Jesus is her boyfriend, and since you're not Jesus, you'll never measure up. Okay, the answer is you'll never measure up. So why bother?
Preaching to the choir here.
Well, all three of us bothered and got our faces kicked in for our efforts. So, okay.
Yeah.
Nick, what's next on you have lots of things down here to share. What's
The next thing. Okay, I gotta share screen, change my Oh, this will be a fun one. Here, I'll share this screen. Look, guys, so I'll lead into it. Look, guys, a lot of these trad cons, they say they're complementarian. They're not egalitarian because egalitarian equals feminist, even though they're all functionally egalitarian. And some of them actually might even say they are, but they'll dress it up in holy robes and all that crap. But the complementarians, man, men and women complement each other. Of course, no one denies that, but it's a made-up term to water down the patriarchy and make Christianity more palatable for liberated women or women living under the liberated age. So it actually denies nature, it denies scripture, and it rejects the hierarchy of headship and family, church, and commonwealth of male rule. And in fact, this is kind of where you get the servant leader bull crap, where, oh, well, it's really the type of headship or leadership where he just serves woman and he's a servant leader. He leads in such a servant way and never insists on his own way. He always asks his wife and decisions, and he does everything to make her happy.
So are you saying
Okay.
that complementarianism is just egalitarianism light?
In a way, but it's so confusing. You never really know how to draw straightforward distinctions. There's all these debates and complementarianism is where do you draw the line? No, you already redrew the line. That's why you can't figure out where to draw the line because you never drew the line in the first place. It's a cave-in position. But yeah, it's feminism light or egalitarianism light. And here we go. The trad con. That's also the con. It's not traditional. They say they're traditional, but they reject the hierarchy. They reject the Bible. They reject the natural order. They reject patriarchy. And then you have things like this.
Oh boy. Oh,
Turning
no.
Point USA Young Women's Leadership Summit Conference or something.
Oh, who's going here?
This was in the past. It's like within 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
I think it was in the summer, but you have Erica Kirk. Oh, director Tulsi Gabbard.
I
Brett
see.
Cooper.
One of my favorite punching bags.
Allie Beth Stuckey.
Yes, the woman who thinks that servant leadership means servant leadership means doing what she tells her man to do, as long as she
Well,
doesn't issue it as an order.
we have Brett Cooper in there. She's got a high following among Christian men.
Very high.
Who else? I can't wait to see.
Oh, there's more.
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me do it. Okay. Guys, this is okay. Contradiction already. Leadership, women leadership. These are your trad cons. Okay, scroll down. Oh, Riley Gaines. Wasn't she a poster girl? Like bikini picture? I don't know, but
No, she's a swimmer, I think. She's famous for her anti-trans and sports thing.
okay.
So, but look, who's next to her?
So I was wrong on that one, maybe. I thought she was on like the TradCon calendar. I don't know. Lila Rose. Oh.
Wow, she's a good Catholic woman.
Is she though? Is she really? Really?
Supposedly.
We have
Senator. Congresswoman Beth Van Goon. Senator Angela Paxton. Congresswoman Nancy Mace.
But it gets better. It gets
better. Oh gosh, look right here.
Oh
Center
God.
screen.
Oh God.
What?
Just admit you're a liberal feminist at this point. Honestly. Seriously.
You mean these good Christian women were going on the same Christian women's leadership conference as a porn star? Well, okay.
Former.
It was not really. Well, okay, porn star. Yeah, it was
OF.
OF is corn,
OF.
guys. Sorry, OF is corn.
Yeah.
It just is. Yes, she's a corn star. Whether or not she took off all her clothes doesn't matter. She's a corn star.
And none of these women had the fortitude to say, hell no, I'm not doing that.
No, these are your trad cons. You know, they think women should be in leadership. That's not traditional, nor
Well, I guess
really.
it doesn't say Christian, but we have a lot of the biggest name Christian women out there.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a who's who of Christianity right here.
Wait. Who's the one? Lila Rose. Wasn't she just out there scolding men for porn use?
So was
Yes.
Allie Beth Stuckey. She was defending
Oh,
Allie Beth
yes.
Stuckey.
And then they appear with a porn
at least I think
star.
So. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Great.
No.
Yes,
you need
Lila Rose.
masculine men to save the down and out women and children and serve us. We need their masculinity. But here, let me lecture you on the most evil thing ever, which is corn.
And then show up at the same event with one of these stars.
Well, I mean, the hypocrisy of showing up with them, but also there's here, we need strong masculine men, but let us tell you what masculine is. That's hypocritical too. There is so much hypocrisy on this one graphic right here that it blows one's brain, right? You know, just how can you couldn't pile more hypocrisy onto a single screen if you tried.
You know what they're not doing? John MacArthur, you know what he would say to them all? As he said to Beth Moore, go home.
Yes, please. Go home. Go home. Nala, go home. We don't need you on the internet anymore. I know you want to be on the internet because this whole thing for you, the entire arc of your story has been about getting as much attention on you as possible. I'm sorry, you are a mentally unwell person. You need help, not a stage.
And look, guys, this is your trad cons. It is a con. These women will lecture you as shrews and beat you down. You should see what they do to men that actually teach, traditional Christianity, like Joel Webbin, Eric Kahn, and other guys. They can't stand each other. Why? Because true traditional Christian men tell them, we don't want you here out in public. We don't need to hear your lecturing. We need you to shut up, go home, not be a boss babe, but obey your husband and get on your knees for your husband.
Or to Jesus, or, in prayer, whatever.
But Jesus would never make them get on their knees to another man.
He might actually, yes, but it's never stated anywhere explicitly. Okay, I'll state it this way. I don't think Jesus would have a problem with a woman who got on her knees for her man.
No. No.
I've had some other.
Can you imagine what kind of man it is to be married to these women?
Oh, I've kind of gone there a little bit, but I can't follow that thought process too far because it's too scary.
Okay, this is a great comment. The trad con, the big con to have guys be the cleanup crew for screw ups and single moms because that's what real men do. Nailed it.
Yep. Let me tell you about what a real man would do, says every trad con. Real men do this. Real men do that. We really don't care what you have to say. Shut up and listen to your own husband and please him. Do they really get
So,
the tingles for their husbands? I don't know. But it's a valid question because they want to play girl boss.
Well, no, some of these girls might, but not because of the husband per se. A lot of these women are married to men worth 7, 8, some are even married to 9-figure men. And they can look, and you know, I know we say that money, muscles, and game, you know, it's hypergamy insurance, and it doesn't, it's sold as that, but it doesn't actually work. Now, that said, it can work for a period of time until the novelty of it wears off, and she needs some. I mean, there's a reason why women who've banged billionaires will then go out and bang, you know, Chad or Tyrone from the block, just fresh out of jail, right? It's not about the money.
You know what? Her coach from the jiu-jitsu studio.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, we're
Right.
talking about the goat.
Yeah, we are talking about the goat. Yes.
Yeah.
You can have all the money in the world, and it eventually it won't be enough, but it can be for a time. And some of these women, I guarantee they enjoy their husband's money very much.
Okay, so we'll probably get back to this, but this is, I want to, you know, before we lose any viewers, the thumbnail for this was a man sitting on an easy chair thinking, I won, or we win. Men are winning. Tradcons don't get it, but men are winning. Every time you tune in to the media where women are lamenting, where have all the good men gone? Blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting about, you know, they're just losing their shit. And men are not marrying these women. No matter what the tradcons are saying, to marry, man up and marry these women. It's not happening. And since it's not happening, the women are complaining and lamenting more and more. The birth rate's going down, and the economy is getting worse. And men are just sitting back saying, yeah, I want my piece. And men are actually doing things with their time. And they're not rushing in to please the women. So men are winning. We are seeing the change of society as we speak. And we are seeing the demise of the churches who are catering to women. The people are leaving churches. Protestant churches are shutting down in the South. The number of Catholic parishes is shrinking. It's shrinking everywhere. Now, is this a bad thing? Well, kind of. But the men are winning because the men are not rushing in to keep the status quo going. They are not falling for the con. That's why the men are winning.
So, Alex, we call this man a beta cuck, not just a simp. So, somebody who is willing to, who has amassed billions of dollars of personal net worth, who lets his wife live separately from him, and then spend all his money to fund all sorts of bullshit. You're not just a simp at that point. You are look, the chances of her not. Go ahead.
Didn't he have a fairy tale destination wedding that cost $1 gazillion?
Zuckerberg, yeah, he did. And he spends a lot of his time in Hawaii. She spends more of her time in San Francisco, which is ironic because his company's headquartered in San Francisco, and she spends more time there than he does. But she's very politically active, very. And of course, San Francisco is ground zero for all of the worst politics the world has ever devised.
So, if they're both living separate lives, maybe having separate liaisons,
yeah,
why get married if you're not having sex with your wife?
Steve, this is
To
an
all the
interesting.
church people right now.
Well, but here's the thing, and this I would postulate to the Christians: if your wife is living from you separately and spending your money on things that you may or may not agree with, would it not be better for you to stay single and put your money towards things that you know and you believe in, put them towards church projects that you want to see done? And we've talked about this before. You can't just write a blank check to the church because our churches support all sorts of feminist slop. But if you were to write a directed donation to a given project within your church or your church organization, guys, like, what would you rather do? Would you I mean, why would you want to support these women out here who are going to send your money off to support causes that you hate and not tell, and they won't tell you, but that's what they're doing, when you can not have to pay for women, you can have more money to direct towards causes that you care about. For example, a good one, we have a male self-deletion epidemic, and there are places you can donate money to help with that.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. How are the churches addressing that problem?
Well, they're not.
No,
You're going to have to address.
They send people to me now.
Damn. They're not? You mean the churches?
They send them to me
One
now.
of the biggest things that we think that happens post-divorce. And the children who are deprived of their father and all this destruction, and the churches are doing nothing about it? Are you serious?
No, they actually help further throw the men under the bus, blame the men, and then you'll have individual Christian men that I've met and talked to. There's very few. And they start redirecting these men towards people like me and George Bruno and other guys that actually care and don't want them to self-delete. But the churches as a whole know that they're all simping white knight programs. Not all. I mean, you'll find the exception here and there, but pretty much they tolerate these reviling women, believe all their false accusations or exaggerated accusations, either way, and assist them monetarily, if not morally, with encouragement to destroy the men and their families and probably their children too, being raised by these nasty feminist single women, all under the guise of Christianity. It's an abomination.
So I want to bridge over to the thing Plutarch wants to share.
All right.
So, Red Pill, we three are firmly Red Pill. We're also firmly Christian. Absolutely, totally believe in Christian ethics and conduct and everything Christian. But yet we're still Red Pill. So, are we nuts? Well, I'll leave that up to you. But the tradcons, the Christian guys. Oh, those red pill guys. Oh, they're so terrible. Oh, you know, sometimes they get a few things right, but their prescriptions are so bad. What are the red pill prescriptions? It's laughable. It is truly laughable because they equate red pill with pickup artists.
And what were
Yes,
you saying in the chat earlier,
there
Steve?
are pickup artists in the red pill. Yes, absolutely. There's something, I'm guessing 2 to 5%. And yes, they're using this information of understanding female nature for their own pleasure and for evil. I'll just call it that. Women, meanwhile, are using their nature to propagate evil all the time. So men have to know how to counter this. But now the tradcons, when you equate red pillers with pickup artists, really? You think? I mean, stop and think. The majority of men lack the charisma, or as the young kids say, the riz, to go out and bed a lot of women. They don't have it, never will. Most men will not ever have it. So to equate red pill with pickup artistry and say that defines a red pill, you are delusional.
Oh, but Steve, why would they be so desperate to equate the red pill with pickup artistry? Why would they be so desperate to do that? Could there be a reason for it?
Yes, because the descriptors are the problem.
Descriptions have always been their problem.
No, they would like to believe in the happy fairy tale of the nature of women rather than the reality of the nature of women. Because, it's too scary to believe that women really are kind of left unchecked, have a dark nature. Men have a dark nature too. I'm not saying women are worse than men, but unchecked, yes, women are worse than men, because I'll go back to Genesis. A woman was created to be a helpmeet. She was not created to be a leader. So a leaderless woman is going to get into a lot more problems than a leaderless man on a percentage basis. That's my belief. So you had some data or kind of a procedure of how to
I do
attack this, or how do you want to set that up, Plutarch?
So, as you guys know out there, I follow a lot of finance, a lot of data stuff, and one of my follows is a fellow named Michael W. Green, and he is a finance CFA. He writes this weekly Substack articles about finance, and he wrote this article 2 weeks ago now that went very viral on Twitter. And he was basically saying that the poverty line shouldn't be $30,000; it should be $130,000 to $150,000. And he goes through, as finance guys do, and he does this whole long explanation of a spreadsheet about how he arrived at that number. And the post goes viral. Now, I don't want to talk about that post. I want to talk about something that he talks about in his follow-on post, because he calls out a specific mechanism that tradcons and conservatives in particular use. As you see, we're going to start talking about things like the American Enterprise Institute, AEI. These are not liberal institutions by any stretch of the imagination. But I bring this up because I want to shine a light, not not just on what they're doing and why, but how they go about doing it, so that you guys can see it for yourselves and watch it in action. And we've talked on and off about how we have been tracking the sort of attacks against the red pill. And I think a few streams ago we mentioned that it is not the left that is attacking us, it is the right. It is specifically the tradcon right. Part of the reason we're doing yet another episode on the tradcon is because we're pushing back. We believe we have identified the authors of the attack, and this is our attempt to hit back. We're a small channel, we understand, but for those of you listening, this is my attempt to inoculate you a little bit. So I'm gonna have to scroll up here a little bit. So this is what Mr. Green calls the mockery machine. And the moment I read that title, I was just like, he got it. He figured it out. The subtitle is calling out the new Balf Eubanks. If you haven't read Atlas Shrugged, you won't recognize that, but if you have, you should. He's referring to. I'm going to read this. It's kind of long, but he's going to go through the process that they use and explain it in detail so that you guys can see it. This is an article he wrote before the one that went viral. So he says, in Are You an American? I described the mockery machine. And in that article, it's a bullet point list. The ritualized pattern in which elites respond to legitimate grievances. And this is key. These are legitimate grievances. He's talking about finance and affordability and all that. But we men in the red pill have a legitimate grievance too, I would say. By distorting them into absurdity, ridiculing the distortion, and then shaming the complainer for even noticing the decline. I thought of it as a cultural reflex, a defensive maneuver performed mostly by Twitter avatars and partisans. I was wrong. And to be fair, a lot of us think this, that it's mostly just people on Twitter that you can ignore. Probably not true. The coordinated response to my part one analysis, where he's talking about the poverty line, especially from Scott Winship, the director of the Center on Opportunity and Social Mobility at the American Enterprise Institute, reveals something deeper and far more revealing. What I witnessed this week was not a debate. I would gladly have made myself available for discussion. It was, and this is key, narrative discipline. So first they try to ignore it. This is an actual set of tweets. Are we actually talking about that? I was ready to ignore it, but now I'm seeing references. And then some guy says, no, ignore it. Right. And then of course you see, this is here we go. I tried to let it go. I tried to get back to my other work, but this is just the worst thing I've ever seen. So I've got to talk about it. Right. So then reluctantly, they lumbered into battle. AI's champion, the Black Knight of Monty Python's Holy Grail, performing his required professional function. And this is key, by the way. I showed the public that the median family's income statement was increasingly challenged, and they responded not by addressing it. Don't address the problem. This is key. But by remaining defiant on the path, bleeding profusely, and insisting that the systemic dysfunction was just a scratch. Their entire professional existence is predicated on denying the wound. They cannot concede the math because their job is to defend the castle. This is a quote from Upton Sinclair. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. It was the deja vu of a scene from Atlas Shrugged I had never fully appreciated until now. The role of Balf Eubank, the subsidized intellectual whose job is not to think, but to reassure the powerful that everything is fine. And he puts a couple quotes in here. Balf Eubank, Atlas Shrugged. Our culture has sunk into a bog of materialism. Men have lost all spiritual values in their pursuit of material production and technological trickery. They're too comfortable. They will return to a nobler life if we teach them to bear privations. So we ought to place a limit on their material greed. Scott Winship, U.S. House Testimony 2023. The behavior between the link between poverty and income is overstated. The real issue is their behavior. Wow. Okay. And so you know, they just need to bear the privations. Interesting. Just like in Atlas Shrugged, all the sycophants wanted to display their loyalty to Balf. Check out the brutal assault on my childcare figure. It's not $32,000 a year, it's $25.7. And then he lists for those of you who can't see, I won't read the whole set of tweets, but it's a data service trying to say that, well, it's 7,000 less, so that makes it all okay, or 6,000. It's 6,000 less.
Yeah. That's not a material difference.
Right. It's not. This is the policy intellectual echo chamber of the mockery machine. Eubank provides the moral justification to inaction in Atlas Shrugged. People are too comfortable and must bear privations. Winship provides the modern data-backed policy verdict for the same, that income is secondary to behavior. The conclusion is identical. The problem is not the system's mathematics, but your moral character. And this is one of the things that really struck me about this, is that when you see the tradcons talk about the red pill, the problem isn't anything that we come up with about the system's mathematics. It's just that, well, our moral character is such that we couldn't maintain a divorce, or we couldn't maintain a marriage, so we had to get divorces. But they, being of higher moral character and having not gone through a divorce, that is the real delineation between a success and a failure. It can't possibly be anything wrong with the system itself. And we've been talking about this for the whole stream. And this is the last little bit I want to read. It's because it specifically states how they do this. The mockery machine at work. Start with a legitimate claim. In this case, the cost of participation in the modern economy is far higher than the official poverty limits. That is absolutely true. There is no mathematical way around that. It's a legitimate claim, grievance, whatever you want to call it. Exaggerate it to absurdity. They insist repeatedly that I believe every family under 140,000 is starving. A claim never made. He never actually says that. I read the article. He doesn't. He runs the numbers himself using the multiplier for food at home against the total food budget, deliberately choosing a multiplier that suggests that the poverty line could be 214,000, simply to make the structure of the argument appear ridiculous. Treat the absurd version as the real argument. So wait, he's saying the guy who attacked him, he runs the numbers using a multiplier, and and then he tries to say, well, this guy's really saying it should be 214,000. It's ridiculous. He writes, no one in their right mind should think that a meaningful poverty line could be set at 140,000, as though the point were the number, not the structure of the transition through the valley of death. The valley of death, he's referring here to a concept where, above a certain line, you lose access to all the government programs, and you cannot recover to the level you were on the government programs until you get to a much higher level. Okay, then blame the claimant for entitlement. He nods approvingly towards the economists who insist Americans have never had it so good, and suggests that the rich, Michael Green, thinks poverty is reflected by the inability to afford $10 bananas. Final step, reframe the grievance as unserious, unrigorous, and un-American. He dismisses the entire analysis as hot garbage and the worst poverty analysis I have ever seen, then pivots to telling readers that the real problem is not the economy, but their perception, which is fed by inaccurate claims. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because if you look at what because I'm not going to show the video, but we've shown the video before of the Daily Wire talking about the red pill. And how do they start? They start with a legitimate claim. And they acknowledge, yes, divorce rates are really high. The direction they take with it then is, well, but yes, the divorce rates are really high, but if you just marry a good Christian woman, well, and you pray with her enough, and you get, and you know, and they don't say this, but they heavily imply it, and you give her enough of what she wants, this won't happen to you. That's exaggerating to absurdity. For the 50+% of guys who've been through a divorce, they're looking at the Daily Wire's claim going, are you fucking kidding me? And then they treat the absurd argument as the real argument. Look, we've never said that marriage is bad. We've said modern marriage is bad. But they treat their absurd caricature of our argument as if it was the real argument. And then, of course, being Daily Wire, they spend an inordinate amount of time blaming the red pill for being entitled. And in fact, blaming men for being entitled. Men who just want a normal functioning marriage.
Oh, there's another way they're exaggerating.
Okay.
That I talked previously. Red pill equals pickup artist.
Yes.
And then they treat that as an absurd argument to dismiss the red pill.
So, right. So they picked up the 5% of the red pillars and stated that that is the red pill. They didn't even state that is all red pillars. They just said, no, that is the red pill. They literally took our community and our definitions and reframed it, and we accepted them for this. Nick, question for you if you're listening. Who do you think the biggest component of the red pill is by just number of men?
Probably MGTOW or married red pill.
I would agree with MGTOW. I would say they are the biggest component of red pill. But married red pill is huge too.
Is huge. Is huge. Those guys are trying to figure it out and trying to understand. But I'll just say this. They can't really implement what they're learning because they don't know how.
Yeah.
So the married red pill, yeah, they can use a few pointers here and there, but to really utilize the knowledge, well, they can't. Just like most men can understand a bit of game theory, how to game a woman, but they can't take it and go out and implement and utilize that to sleep with a woman that in a short-term basis, nor should they have to. I'm not advocating they do, but I'm just saying they also don't have the skills to do that.
Well, there's an interesting story arc, and it does feel like a story when you look at it, that we've been tracking over the past year and a half. And so originally the narrative, I'm thinking back, February 24, Daily Wire puts out that video just slamming on the red pill. But interestingly, why is it that the Daily Wire, they rip on the red pill? They're trying to redefine the red pill as pickup artists. But the Daily Wire crowd only goes and talks to pickup artists. Tradcons only go and talk to pickup artists. Why is that? Why is it that everyone who falls under that sort of traditional conservative title, they don't go talk to the MGTOW guys? They don't go talk to and they avoid married red pill like it's the freaking plague. They refuse to talk to Married Red Pill. Okay. But they'll talk to the pickup artists. Well,
Yeah.
because here the thing is they couldn't make the red pill go away. There were too many men who noticed. Okay. And so they couldn't pick it up. They couldn't make it go away. And so what if you can't make something go away? Remember, what was the first thing? What was the very first thing they said to do? Ignore it. Okay. But when you can't ignore it, then you must treat the absurd version as the real argument. And in order to do that, you have to make those people the real argument. Okay? They have to make it seem like the pickup artists are the red pill, that they dominate the red pill, that okay, they refuse to acknowledge the married red pill is a thing. They don't like the fact that MGTOWs exist, so they market to them. See, we've got these great church whores who won't screw you over, but they cozy up to the pickup artists. When I read this, I'm a finance guy, and I'm reading through and going, okay, the math probably checks out. The poverty line probably is somewhere near 140,000. I looked through his math; it's pretty good. He's a finance guy. But I was reading this, and I'm having these PTSD flashes in my head of the red pill, going, this is what they've done. And so when you see the tradcon types cozying up to the pickup artistry, when you see them trying to make the pickup artist big, it's because they want to be able to treat the absurd version of the argument as if it was the real argument that the red pill's trying to make.
I want to make a point here.
Please do.
Poverty line. Okay, people might think this is absurd. That doesn't matter. Poverty line, there's an idea, a concept everybody has in their mind what a poverty line is. And it's not what it actually is. You got to go to the definition. I don't know offhand what the definition is. But when you think poverty line, you think poor, subsistence living. No, poverty line actually has a definition of being able to afford normal things. And I'm not going to go there, what it is. But I'm just saying everyone probably has a wrong definition. In a similar manner, a life, people, men, women too, have this idea of a family existence with marriage and children and enough money and a loving spouse and, enough sex and, a decent existence and that it will work out. That is the thing that's not working. However you want to define this couple existence, marriage, there's a concept in your mind. It's not working. It's not successful these days. Most people are below that level in their marriage or in their coupling up or they're divorced. It didn't work.
Right. And it doesn't, and it continues to work less and less well every year we go at this. And so that is why they have shifted tactics. Johnny, yeah, you've correctly noticed that, or you correctly noted, lumping it together was the way they used to attack it. But that didn't work. And in fact, they kind of Streisand affected themselves, and it drew even more attention to the red pill. So that didn't work. So now they have to pick up this argument and raise up the pickup artists to make them look like they are more relevant, that they are more numerous than they actually are, because they want the pickup artists to be the red pill. That's what they
You
want.
see, it makes perfect sense because we have a low marriage rate, we have a below sustainable birth rate,
Yeah.
and the reason is all these delusional red pill men who are really pickup artists are not lining up to get married. So if we destroy the red pill, then men again will sign up for marriage and everything will be just fine. And it's all those red pillars' fault.
This is what I call, in more crass language, trying to convince men by pissing down their back and telling them it's raining.
Yeah, and the strategy here is they're attempting to take the red pill away from us by redefining it into something that most men have no interest in. And that's the key. They know that most men have no interest in being pickup artists. We don't have the time, energy, resources, etc. to do it. That's most men. And so if you can define the red pill as pickup artistry, then you can make the red pill go away for any man who doesn't want to be a pickup artist.
Yeah, great. Good luck. Red pill is growing. That's why we had the image on the thumbnail of the man reclined in his easy chair. I win. The red pill is winning. You can deny reality, but reality still exists. You can demonize the red pill, but the red pill truths will still exist, and the young men especially are embracing these truths. They may not even know the term red pill or identify as red pill, yet they believe the same things that the red pill guys
Well, Steve, you're absolutely right. And this poses a problem for them, which is why I have scrolled down and highlighted what we're already starting to see happen. Reframe the grievance as unserious, unrigorous, and un-American. The red pill is now much more frequently in the past year talked about as unserious, unrigorous, meaning that we don't properly look at the data. I've seen a bunch of that from names like Chris Henderson. If you follow Rollo loves attacking that guy, and for good reason. Chris Henderson calls us out for unrigorous data. Same with or is it Ron, and I can't remember. There's a couple or Chris Williamson and Rob Henderson. Sorry, got my names backwards. Right, Rollo's constantly in those guys' face because they're making the unrigorous argument. Okay. And of course, the un-American. Well, it's just un-American to not get married and not have kids. How could you do this to us? And here's the thing: the red pill, the married red pill, and particularly the MGTOWs are being cast as the villains in our collapsing birth rate. But here's the thing:
I got a good picture for people.
Okay, I'm going to load up another one here too, because I've got one for
modern marriage and modern women. Men know with their senses, with their eyes, what they hear, what they smell. It's a pile of shit. Smells like shit, looks like shit. Probably don't want to taste it. But hey, men see this pile of shit. And what they want to do, these tradcons, like the Daily Wire, is no. Plug your nose, pluck out your eyes, and let me tell you how tasty that pile of shit really is.
No, they also want to just shovel it into a little pretty bag, tie a bow around it, and say it's wonderful.
There you go.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. We're talking about unrigorous. I've shared this chart before. Andrew, you'll in the chat, you'll recognize this because I sent you the actual spreadsheet. Here we go. Show me on this chart. MGTOW appears right about it's the third. MGTOW appears back in about 2010. So third line from the right. So show me on this chart where MGTOW caused the declining birth rate. This is actual hard data from the U.S. Census Bureau. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me, that I'm just not understanding it. But you cannot make the claim that somehow MGTOW is responsible for the declining birth rate. That is an unserious claim. That is an unrigorous claim. This is the data. This is cold, hard data.
I know what the problem is. Men are using too much porn. That's the problem.
Okay, so porn appears in large scale right about at the fifth line from the right. That's the year 2000 when we started getting broadband internet. That's when easy access to porn appears. Again, show me on this chart where the porn caused the declining birth rate. I can go back to it's 1940 on the chart. If you look at high frequency data, it's actually 1938. But 1938, infant mortality adjusted TFR.
They had those slow moving pictures that you could peer into.
They did have those, yes. But yeah, so in 1940, the infant mortality adjusted TFR is 2.06. That is below replacement in 1940. Show me on the chart where MGTOW caused the declining birth rate, or red pill, or married red pill. Show me. Oh, you can't, because you're making an unserious argument because you don't like what we are throwing in your face. Okay. I'm done. I'm out. I've made my point. But I hope you guys see how this was done to you. And I'm going to keep harping on this idea that the reason that the tradcons are making friends with the pickup artists is not because they like the pickup artists or they agree with them. It's because they need to make them big so that they can basically delete the red pill from actually helping men who are already married. That's married red pill, or MGTOWs who were married and said, fuck this shit, I'm out. Right.
Hey, wait a minute. Who was it that was saying those two people were kind of the same and grouped together and had the same agenda and whatnot?
Well, lots of people have. You're going to have to be more specific here.
In your household, who was the one who was proposing and harping on that?
Oh, the women folk?
Your wife was on that kick.
Yeah, she was for a while. We have since
she argued. She argued long and hard, and she brought up good points. You know what? I'm gonna say she does add to the discussion.
Yeah.
I often disagree or think she doesn't see the whole picture, but she does contribute. So you know what? I just say that to I guess point out that women are not useless, that it is useful to have discussions with women. You get to understand how they're thinking, how they see the world. You can you can educate them, but you can also learn something that there are benefits. So, often it seems like, oh, we just want to disregard everything that women say. No, we're sane men. We like talking to women, and they contribute to our understanding and development of these concepts and ideas.
Yeah. Okay. Shoe, this is a good one. Straw manning the red pill with the Bugatti red pill, dude. You nailed it. Yes, that's what they've done. And it is effectively a straw man logical fallacy. Not that using logical fallacies bothers these people, because as Upton Sinclair said, it is virtually impossible to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on not understanding it. And the tradcons have rightly deduced that their continued existence relies on men not going into the red pill, and the actual red pill, not the PUA sliver of it.
Lots
Right,
of con and not the truth.
Right.
They're trad cons. Keyword
trad
con,
con.
not conservative.
Yes,
It's a
well.
You know
Nick,
what? Oh,
go ahead, Steve.
I just want to say this. Haven't people figured out that PUA is dead? They keep saying the red pill is dead. No, it's actually PUA is dead. It
Again?
was a big thing, well, on a limited basis, but it was actually a viable option in
2000s.
Yeah, like 2005 to, I don't know, 2012, 2015.
Instagram.
And then, because there were teachers out there, there was a growing movement. It was a bigger part of the red pill. It doesn't mean men were successful at doing it, but they were concerned with learning about it, and you could actually go out and do it. These were the days of Roosh, who is since given up and gone away, and I think he's in a monastery someplace. So, you know what? Guys don't stay in it forever. But it could be done back then. But nightclubs were still a place to go. Nightclubs are dead now. You cannot go out and meet women at night. You cannot walk down the street and use day game to pick up women walking down the street. No, the whole thing is pretty much dead. There is no more pickup artists. Oh, yes, there still is a lot of hookup culture. There still is a lot of liaisons happening with the online dating sites and Instagram and Facebook, even among the older people my age. I'm not on Facebook, but the amount of older people hooking up through Facebook is not insignificant. So the promiscuous behavior is still happening, probably on about the same rate, but it's not the pickup artists. It's moved on to online type stuff. And let me tell you, the women are equally responsible and accountable for it happening. It's not just men picking up women. Oh, these poor innocent women. If it wasn't for the pickup artists, we'd have innocent women.
Yeah. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. The pastor's kid at my church was the church. Yeah. Gosh, she was such a whore. And that's before she turned 18. And the whole youth group knew it too. So, but now we're using the term pickup artist, and the guys who are in the red pill who do pickup artist type things, they don't really call themselves that anymore, but they're there. We're using it as kind of a catch-all or a term that is going to routinely, or be routinely accessible. Alex, I see you're getting kicked off. I'm not seeing any problems on my end. And the numbers look pretty stable, so that could be you. If anyone else is having problems with YouTube in the chat, we have said things that are fairly YouTube unfriendly tonight. And we are certainly attacking certain groups that YouTube is cozy with. So Maybe, but I don't think so. Just to put that out there, guys. Nick, you had something to say, and we all kind of stepped on you.
Few things. Like I got 3 slides I'm going to get through real quick. Look, guys, we're not the first ones to call this out. We might be the first ones that I know of to call trad cons the trad con, as in con artistry, like a confidence man. But here's a tweet from the godfather of the red pill space. I think he's getting to the real point. It is a con. Trad cons are feminists. They don't care about men. They only care about what men can do for women. They just want to build better betas.
Absolutely true. Rollo just knocking it out of the park with this one.
He's right. And his book on religion says this is his rational male book on religion. The Christo feminists, assimilating the modern Western church, have already fashioned a Christ-like figure, but he's been thoroughly feminized and represents the ideals of a sympathetic, female-correct experience in the gynocentric framework. He forgives all sin without requiring insight, remorse, repentance, or change. In red pill terms, this femme Christ is a divine version of an emotional tampon. Jesus is put in the friend zone. He's there when a gal needs him to dry her tears after her night with the alpha male lover and tells her that neither do I condemn you. Others may not judge you because it never judges you. It speaks to them, giving extra biblical guidance and comforts their innate need for security, but without the discomfort of accountability or rebuke. Femme Christ becomes the great spiritual life coach in this age of emotionalism, in an era when men are presumed to bear 100% responsibility with 0% authority. This equation gets reversed for women, 100% authority with 0% responsibility. And this is reflected as canon in our new femme religion. Today, the secular "you go, girl" social reinforcement that entitles women to that faultless, sinless authority has made its way into old order religion via the kosher dynamic. That absolution of responsibility is made much easier when old order patriarchal religion is reinterpreted to serve the feminine imperative. Femme Christ rebukes men for their shirking masculine responsibilities to women and their hesitancy to risk their futures in marriage, while it bestows the elusive manhood title that only elite men are deserving. This is the trad con.
Boom. Where's the mic drop?
That's well said.
Oh, but before Rollo, one of my favorite theologians that I do episodes here
you
on.
mean there were people that saw this before Rollo?
Oh yeah, my old Southern Presbyterian ancestor, Robert Louis Dabney. Dabney quotes it. This is his. He says on. I think this is Women's Rights Women. His article in the later 19th century. He says, it might be inferred again that the present movement for women's rights will certainly prevail from the history of its only opponent, Northern conservatism. This Northern conservatism is a party which never conserves anything. Its history has been that it demurs to each aggression of the Progressive Party and aims to save its credit by a respectable amount of growling, but always acquiesces at last in the innovation. What was the resisted novelty of yesterday is today one of the accepted principles of conservatism. It is now conservative only in affecting to resist the next innovation, which will tomorrow be forced upon its timidity and will be succeeded by some third revolution to be denounced and then adopted in its turn. American conservatism is merely the shadow that follows that follows radicalism as it moves forward towards perdition. This
Holy
is the trad
crap.
dawn.
Well, does not this sound exactly like what's going on today?
Exactly. It is.
I mean, okay. So there was a big blow up on immigration. We did a stream on it again recently. Trump said some bullshit, and then his ratings collapsed because a guy named Mark Mitchell, Rasmussen reports, he's one of their pollster guys, and he's been tracking this collapse. And so, of course, Trump comes out and he says he does the immigration ban on 19 countries, and it's okay. The numbers recover a little bit, but they don't go back up to where they were, because there's certain countries he didn't include on the list. Okay. But look at what Congress has done. Nothing. They passed the one big beautiful bill, and then they passed the continuing resolution or whatever it was to reopen the government. And then they passed a resolution condemning socialism. What else have they done? Where is the action on actually codifying Trump's? I mean, Trump has done a lot. Don't get me wrong; he's done a lot, but he's had to do it all through executive order, which means that the next Republican president can come in, or the next Democratic president can come in and undo all of it.
Well, they've been talking a lot about the cost of health care lately.
Yeah, what have they done?
Well, you know what? You got to talk for a long time before you do nothing. And they're not done talking yet.
They're not done talking before doing nothing. Oh, okay.
Right.
It's mere positioning.
Well, it's as Dabney said. They are talking for a long time. Actually, I'm going to pull this back up. So I'm going to restate it.
There you go.
They are talking for a long time to resist the next innovation, which will tomorrow be forced upon its timidity. That's what they're doing. That's it. They talk for a long time. They don't do anything to stop it. And then the Democrats and progressives get back into power, and they do that thing. And then the conservatives just go, oh, well, I guess it's done now.
I have a perfect example of this. Now, I'm going to remind our listeners. Do you remember a few years back when Obama was president?
Yeah.
And, he wanted to reform healthcare. Oh, we got this great thing called Obamacare. Everybody is going to have coverage. It's going to be this great, wonderful thing. So they revamped healthcare. So all the self-employed people who, I don't know, used to pay like $300, $400, $500 a month. Under Obamacare, boom, their premiums went up to $1,500, $2,000. Oh, that's terrible. So we got to subsidize it and buy it down for them. And so then we continue on. And, the subsidies expired. Now it booms back up to where it should be without the subsidies. And guess what? It was lower before Obamacare. But what have the Republicans done to repeal Obamacare and go back the way it was before? Nothing. They've accepted this. It's a new status quo. What are they conserving?
Nothing.
They're just conserving the status quo, whatever the progressives implemented the last go around. We need some reversions to the past. Not don't conserve the present. You gotta go back to the previous. But no, that doesn't happen.
Exactly. The conservatives aren't the conservatives are conserving the liberal agenda of 15 years ago. I mean, you can pick almost anything, and that's what they do. So, we often say on this channel, no enemies to the right. But in order for that to work, you have to be able to define who your enemies are. And here's the thing. I would love to reach out my hand to the Christians, to the conservatives, because do I align more closely with their beliefs? Yes, obviously. But what do they want to do? They want to cut off my hand and tell me that I am unserious, unrigorous, and unchristian and un-American for having the temerity to suggest that maybe instead of just conserving what was imposed on us 15 years ago, that we actually undo some of it.
Are you saying that the tradcons are left of us, not right of us?
I am.
At least, well, on some things, look, you can't claim to be a conservative, a right conservative, and say, oh, well, we can't do anything about the socialization of healthcare in the United States because, well, that was done 15 years ago and we just need to vote to subsidize it again. Fuck you. There's nothing conservative about that. There's nothing right wing about it.
You can't be silent on marriage laws and the travesty of our family court system and say, oh, I'm a good conservative, traditional Christian.
Exactly.
But we don't need to do anything about that right now. No, you do need to do something about that right now, because it's either part of your core values and beliefs or it's not. And if it's not, and I will say it's not because of your actions, you're not a friend to my right. You are an enemy to my left. Anybody on the left side, from my perspective, is not my friend. They are not advocating for the things that I believe are absolutely essential for our country. You can call me un-American, but is that a projection on what you're actually doing?
Well, see, Steve, here's an interesting example of this. In that video that Jeremy Boring, he said, well, I should make you guys set aside some money so that we can start a think tank on how to change marriage laws in the United States. He actually said that. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was, and then he basically does some joke about, I know how much you guys make, you can afford it. But what did he actually do? Jeremy Boring is, in my estimation, a narcopath. And so what he actually did was he took tens of millions of dollars and made a television series instead. It's called The Pendragon Cycle. It's based on a bunch of books, where Jeremy Boring was the director, the producer, I think he even has a cameo bit in it. And when you read his history, you find out that he's actually a failed Hollywood actor who really, 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 really just wants to be accepted by Hollywood. Well, what do we know about Hollywood, or Hollyweird, as we should call it? Those people are left of freaking Mao, Pol Pot, Stalin, and all of them put together. Okay. So this idea that Jeremy Boring was ever actually going to get out and help us is patently ridiculous. He desperately wants attention from the left, and he is willing to do whatever it takes to get it. He doesn't want to help us. If he had taken the same tens of millions of dollars that he put into that TV show, he could have launched one of the biggest pro-marriage political action committees, PACs, in the country.
And
he could have done a lot.
We don't need no fucking think tank.
True.
All we got to do is repeal everything that changed the marriage laws and rules. Go back to pre-1970.
That's why I said PAC, because that's a political action committee, not a think tank.
We do need to advocate that, but we don't need a think tank. We know exactly what to do.
Yes, correct.
You can tell that.
No fault divorce and title for the subsidization of child care workers at the county level.
Yeah.
That's a start.
It's a start.
Well, and more to the point, if that action actually occurred, it would be a long way to starting to move the Overton window. And why do we know it would work? Because in Tennessee, they passed a law, automatic,
Kentucky.
or sorry, Kentucky. Yes. Sorry, Tennessee's on the brain because of the election last night. But so Kentucky passed a law, automatic 50-50 custody, the father gets 50% too. And divorce rates plummeted.
Well, okay. They went down dramatically. Let's not say plummeted.
Okay.
There was a marked difference, and it's kind of disguised by the fact that divorce rates are, in general, going down because marriage rates are going down.
True.
So, depends on how you look at the data. I'm reluctant to say broad statistics because I would have to look in detail, and I'm not really seeing anybody who's done a detailed analysis to really understand exactly how effective
the
it's
question
been. It
is
has
pretty
been
simple.
very effective, though.
Well, the question is very simple: is divorce in Kentucky going down faster than the average divorce rate for the other?
Absolutely.
Well, then I would say that okay, maybe not proof positive, but there is absolute merit to the claim that the hypothesis that one led to the other.
Are there any Christian leaders in the other 49 states? Are there any Catholic bishops in the other 49 states? Are there any Presbyterian leaders in the other 49 states? Or Lutheran bishops, leaders? Or are there any denominations headquartered in the other 49 states? Do they have their heads up their asses?
Yes.
Why are they not advocating for this?
Protect the women from bad men.
Exactly. No,
yeah. So, you know what? How's God gonna judge them on Judgment Day when, hey, you were in charge? You could have done something to reverse the situation, but no, you didn't. So all these children grew up without their fathers. And, you also should have heard that children who grow up without their fathers are less likely to maintain their Christian faith. So now a good number of these children who did not have the influence of their fathers are now not saved. Because that a child the child's vision and relationship with the child's earthly father reflects their understanding of God the Father. So this is a foundational thing. How are they going to answer this argument when they stand before Jesus on Judgment Day?
You brought up an interesting name, the Lutherans. I was reading an article, Steve. It's about immigration, but they pointed out that during the Obama administration, the 4 years, or sorry, the Biden, during the Biden administration, 4 years, the Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota, so this is their Minnesota chapter, made $10 million importing a couple 100,000 Somalians. $10 million of federal grant money was given to them for the purpose of importing Somalians.
That's impressive.
It's a lot of money. Do you know how much money it takes to buy the state legislature of a given state? It is shockingly low. It's something like if you want them to vote a certain way, it's like $5,000 per head. You can probably buy your legislation for $1.5 million in Minnesota. They chose not to.
I don't know the ranking in Minnesota, but I do know the ranking in North Dakota. No, number 1 and number 2. Lutheran Social Services, Catholic Social Services.
Okay, yeah.
They both did the same thing. We're playing the same game, got the same money. I don't know who was leading and who was second, but there was not a substantial difference between the two. And so in the northern states here, those are the two predominant religions. I'm not saying they're worse than others. They're just the biggest population are either Lutheran or Catholic up in Minnesota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, up in this area. They're all in on it.
I mean, I wasn't trying to talk about immigration specifically. I just wanted to point out that these organizations were throwing around tens of millions of dollars, and it would cost a fraction of that to literally buy themselves a legislature to change the marriage laws, and they don't. These people are not your friends. They hate you. They hate you enough to import hundreds of thousands of third world creatures in an attempt to disenfranchise you.
Sounds like the system's working just as is intended.
Yeah, well, yes, the purpose of a system is what it does, and it is functioning just fine.
Okay. Who really is running those social service organizations?
What, besides women?
No, it's women.
Yes.
I asked Nick this question. I'm going to ask our audience. Give me an example of a woman in charge or a woman making a significant decision where it's a good decision instead of a destructive, bad decision for the future. Every woman who thinks, divorce is a good idea, ends up worse off. Yes, even those that get millions of dollars. Because they go on a promiscuous tour, have a lot of fun, or squander the money, or end up sad. And what does it do to the state of their soul? They're in rebellion. It does, even if superficially it appears like they want in the short term. They don't. And the vast majority of them, the average woman who chooses to divorce, within 2 to 5 years, certainly within 18 years, when the child support stops, she is shit out of luck. So when do women ever make major decisions that work out for the long term?
It has not happened, is not happening, and will never happen. Did I get my past, present, and future? Okay, good.
I think so. So yeah, social services is run by women. Women are telling the church hierarchy what they want to do. The church hierarchy is allowing it to happen, and it is screwing the country now and will in the future, and it's hurting the families because it's depriving men or native resident men of opportunities to earn good money because you just brought in a bunch of other labor that drives down the cost of labor, which hurts men trying to provide for their families, and then women get disappointed in those men and divorce them. You're perpetuating the problem.
Steve,
Get women out of this thing.
Steve,
they don't know what they're doing.
They do know what they're doing. They do. Because the purpose of a system is what it does. And I'm going to attack this from a different way. It would take probably about $50 million to change the laws in 25 red states to this to do this 50-50 custody thing that Kentucky did. Okay. It would $50 million. Any one of these churches could come up with that, based on what falls out of their amply lined pockets. Okay. These big church, the Catholic Church, $50 million is a rounding error on their budget. Okay.
Right.
They don't, because if you solve a problem, you have nothing to grift for more money. You have no problem to use to grift more money with. And this is part of why the Republicans do nothing, so that they can hit you with it when it comes time to get votes. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to risk losing their federal sinecures and their stock trading insider access. All they have to do is do nothing and then hit you with, well, if you elect us, it's going to be worse. Or if you don't elect us, it'll be worse if you elect those guys.
So you never want to actually succeed at the right to life and outlawing abortion. You just want to keep fighting for that, because then the money keeps coming in.
Right. Johnny, I know what you're saying, and that's why I said Republican states, is because you could buy enough Republican state legislators who would be willing to vote your way, and they'd just swamp the vote of the minority liberal votes. I recognize that this would not work in states like California and New York, but you don't need it to work in all the states. You just need it to work in enough of them. And then men will go, yeah, I'm not getting married in California. I'm getting married in Kentucky. Right. And then the women will start to figure it out. It's a good
beauty is, over time, if you do it in the red states, they will have the population and their growth will overtake the blue states.
Yeah.
And the blue states population will fall, and eventually the conservatives will take over, or the red will take over there. They'll follow along. I don't know how long it happens. It happened in reverse. Who had the first no-fault divorce?
Reagan in California in the 60s.
Okay, and that swept the country. Now every state has it. Okay, you start reversing that. You got to start with one. And if that's the way the sentiment is going, it's going to sweep the nation.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It does not take as much money to buy off the legislators in a state that's already conducive to your argument. And that's how it was done with no-fault divorce. The money was not put into red states that disagreed with it. It was put into other blue states. But as enough blue states took it on, the red states felt like, well, we have no choice but to do this, or people will leave so that they can go get their no-fault divorce in another state, and we'll lose our tax revenue. This is the same strategy. It's the same strategy, not even in reverse. It's just the same strategy. We're doing different things with it, but it's the same thing. Same strategy.
You want to do it even cheaper?
Okay.
North Dakota has 750,000 residents. South Dakota has 800,000. Wyoming has under 1 million. Montana, I don't know, a little over 1 million, I think. What would it cost to get those 4 states to change?
Well,
Because
it
they're
would take some money, but
relatively
it's
conservative
yeah.
and blue already. They're relatively pro-life. And so a campaign in a low population state would be pretty low. And if you did all 4 states, man, all of a sudden you got 4, boom, 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 boom. You got a movement going.
Right, and each one you pick up makes it much easier. Means the next one costs less because there's more talk. There's more free press talking about it, either positive or negative. People are talking about it. Would Johnny? Yeah, would feminism be threatened by this? Abso-freaking-lutely. Would the states, the federal government itself, would they be threatened by it? Yes, because it means less money going into the system. Would there be a full court press? Yes. I'm saying, it's $1.5 million to buy a state legislation. I'm just kind of multiplying that. Yes, it would actually require more money, marketing, etc. But look, it was done in Kentucky with a pretty much a guerrilla campaign. They did not spend much on that, and they got it. And when the divorce rates fall,
it would require getting the churches on board.
Yes, it would.
Not even all the churches.
Yes.
You get in Minnesota or North Dakota, get the Lutherans and the Catholics on board.
It'll happen.
And then, you know who else is going to jump on board? Probably the Presbyterians.
Probably, yeah.
Probably the evangelicals, who are, distributed and not a lot of different denominations. They're going to jump on board. And pretty soon, you got over 50%. Now, I'm not talking about church-going people. I'm talking about identified people. Because the majority of Catholics don't go to Mass on Sunday. The majority of Lutherans don't. But you ask them what's their religion. They haven't been to church for 10 years. No, I'm a Lutheran. How do you know? You haven't been to church for 10 years. No, I'm a Lutheran.
Yeah, or they're Christmas Catholics, as we used to call them.
CEOs.
Christmas, Easter, and what's the other one?
Christmas and Easter only.
Oh, Christmas and Easter only. Okay. yeah, exactly. So I guess the point here is that for relatively limited amounts of money, you can have an enormous impact, and they're not, because the purpose of conservatism is to conserve progressivism. I was chatting with my dad earlier today, actually, and I was telling him, look, the really what's happened on the right is the right has decided that the left has the moral high ground, that the left is a moral, that the leftist morality is morality, and they just see their job as slowing down the exuberance of the left. Well, in that case, and when you view the actions of the right in that lens, everything makes sense. They don't see their job as to try and save the birth rate or end abortion. If you were to ask any sitting senator or congressman, should we outlaw abortion? They'll say, nope, we can't do that. That's set. Pandora's out of the box. That's just a thing now. Which is why Planned Parenthood still gets money from the federal government. Can't stop that. It's just a thing now.
Conservatives conserve nothing.
Conservatives conserve the liberalism of 15 years ago.
So it's
I
a
think
con.
Dabney
They're not
got it.
traditional. They're not
Yeah.
conservative.
Yeah. Dabney called it. He called it perfectly and succinctly. So I don't think you'll see any serious change on any of these topics that we've talked about. It could be immigration, could be marriage laws, whatever, until the conservatives are replaced with patriarchal right-wing people.
Well, my whole point is that it's a losing plan. They need their own plan to move forward.
Yes.
So Dabney said where we were going as a country.
Perdition.
He didn't really give a timeline, but he was right. Now, what are the three of us saying? We're saying where we're going in the future. We don't say when we're going to get there.
Well, we kind of do sometimes.
Well, we give we have an opinion on it. But men are opting out of this whole marriage game. And it's not going to change. You can denigrate the red pill, marginalize it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because men are not going to change their ideas or their actions. They'll just come up with another term and call it something else.
Yep, we will.
So, you know what? Trash the red pill all you want. The ideas are not going to go away. And they'll just be another term for this movement in the future. It doesn't matter.
So, Shu dropped a funny. He says, "Yep, Plutarch, that's exactly it." Thank you, Shu. And that's why the Dave Ramsey Network YouTube thumbnails look like Jerry Springer episodes I watched back in 2005. Dude, love it. But also, you're right. Like, Dave Ramsey is Jerry Springer for boomer cons. It just is what it is. And until we accept that, we cannot move forward. And first, I think we have to start seeing what they're doing and how they're doing. It's why I spent half an hour monologuing. Sorry, guys. But it was, I just read that article and I went, oh, well, this is it. This is what this is. And it's important that people hear not just that they're doing it, but how they're doing it. And why are they picking the targets they're picking? The trad cons should be busting down the doors trying to talk to us married red pill guys. Married red pill guys should be headlining podcasts with Crowder and Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh might actually be getting there slowly. Because the married red pill guys actually have not just a plan, but they have experience doing. They've done it. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. They know how to solve these problems. If you want to solve the birth rate crisis, the married red pill guys need to be front and fucking center of everything you do, if that's your goal. But they refuse to talk to us.
Well, the divorced red pill guys have more of the answers than the married trad cons.
Well, definitely, yes. Talk to somebody who's been through the system. If you actually want to solve this birth rate problem, you need to talk to us. Talking to the PUAs, to the pickup artists, in the hopes that you can redefine the red pill away from guys like us just for the purpose of killing it, all you're really showing is what you actually care about. You don't actually care about solving the problem. You don't care about the birth rate problem beyond the grifting you can and financial donations you can get from it. And that it bothers me to the very core of my soul, because I understand the evil of the left. They are blatant about it. But you wrap yourself in the flag of godhood and proclaim your greatness, and then you fucking twist the knife in my back.
Hey, Plutarch.
I'm making Nick laugh over
simple purity spiral. You see,
yes, I know.
My sins aren't as bad as yours because I'm still married. So you're worse than me. So I can stand over here and throw shade on you and shame you,
Steve.
Because you see, I'm closer to Jesus and I'm better than you.
Steve, I'd buy that as a genuine thing if they weren't cozying up to the pickup artists. I don't think they give a shit about the purity aspect of it. I think that's just another way to tell me to shut up and go away. And that they don't want to talk to me because they don't want the actual answers to the problem.
Hey, Plutarch, you and I owe an apology to Nick.
We do.
This was his stream. And who's been doing the ranting for the last damn near hour? You and me.
A lot of me.
It's all right. I said what I needed to say after the Dabney quote.
Well, it's pretty clear you've been enjoying these rants over there.
Oh yeah.
I think we're about done at this point. My voice is going, but I have been kind of dominating this for a while. So,
all right, guys, behold the trad con. It's a con of trads, so-called trads.
Yeah, so-called trads, exactly.
All right, what are we doing Saturday?
I have no idea, and she hasn't told me anything.
Saturday, what's gonna happen after.
Yeah, Saturday you'll just have to find out. Yeah, she says, "Oh, we'll have fun on Saturday." Yeah, with what?
Yeah.
So yeah, she doesn't know. See, she's just saying we'll have fun. Join us because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. We haven't talked about it.
Who knows? I tell you, who do you think knows?
Hopefully we can.
I'll tell you who knows. I know, because here's how it usually goes. Steve, what should we do on Saturday? And I give her, we could do this. She goes, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Pretty much. Yeah, Shu and Johnny, thank you. You guys have been great in the comments. I was a little, when I saw the you guys talking, Nick, and I saw you talk about this morning, and I've had my article in mind, and I was just like, I already know that I'm gonna take this over for a bit. But
that's what we do.
Hey,
and so
the three of us were thinking in parallel tracks.
Oh yes.
Leading up to this, even though we had not directly communicated for over a week, our thoughts were tracking quite closely to come up with this stream, or to support Nick in his stream, I should say.
We don't know what next Wednesday will be. We will come up with something. I had a thought for doing a just kind of a random stream. Let's just what's on your mind, guys, kind of stream. Not pre deciding what we want to do. I do know that they're this year, schedule wise, We will not be streaming on the 24th and 31st because you should all be with your families on those days. So we will have two more streams for the end of the year. Then we're going to go on a break. Now we will be talking about stuff for next year. It's not going to be 2 weeks of us not talking. So that'll be fun. But no idea what the next 2 weeks are, but there will be no streams on the 24th and the 31st. Yes, Johnny, we're always Wednesday, always at the same time, 8:45 Eastern. Don't know what time zone you're in, but it's 8:45 Eastern. And so that's why we're not doing the final 2 Wednesday streams this year.
So for any people who are just tuning in and like what you heard, you can go back and watch any of our streams. They're pretty timeless. They apply to any time. I mean, we're not event driven for the most part. Once in a while,
we do some.
We do some, but then even then, when we're talking about an event, it's still timeless information. We don't get very political, but we do have views on politics and sentiments, but we talk about male nature, female nature, and all that. Just go back and watch a previous stream if you need your fix of the Resurgence.
And even when we do talk on current events, we are going to be very slow. We are not going to be jumping on it. We are not chasing YouTube dollars here. And in fact, we are so far from being monetized. It's hysterical. We don't even think about it. And even if we could be monetized, we don't want to be, because that gives us the freedom to really think about a topic. So it's not uncommon for us to wait a week or two before we speak on something. So just so you know, guys, we can be delayed, but we're trying to actually think through the problems as opposed to just yelling into our microphones. So with that, I don't know, Nick, Steve, you guys have anything else you need to say?
No.
All right. We will see you on Saturday or Wednesday, depending on which one you guys tune into next. Later.
There was a firefight! Fucking